Welcome back, brothers, to yet another episode here on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. I'm your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. For those of you who are watching this particular stream live, I want to welcome you into the stream. Come in and like the video. For those of you who are watching the restream, we appreciate you for watching. Also, like the video. The gentleman that I'm going to be having here today is no stranger to the Wednesday 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot. This is a gentleman that I've really seen come from, almost like 200 or 300 subscribers to almost 20,000 subscribers. A man that has been influential to me, not only just on YouTube, but also on my personal site, www.negromanosphere.com, which is pretty much a gift to black men worldwide. He's a genius in his right. He has a lot of great information. Everybody loves him. The one and only, we call him Uncle Rom over here in the Black Manosphere. Ron Wills, welcome back, player.
Hey man, I'm glad to be back, man. Glad to be back. Ready to hurt some feelings out there, but you know how I do.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked at the title because you're a very versatile writer. Mm-hmm. I think out of all the people on negromanosphere.com, you tend to write more on a wide breadth of topics. Because Alan and Donovan kind of focus on just really like dealing with women or certain strategies. You deal with more issues as it relates to not only the black male community but the black community at large. But this topic, I'm actually shocked when you suggested it, and that is, should black men be physically fighting white supremacy? I kind of want to know what was the inspiration for you want to talk about this today.
You know why? Because we've been hearing this a lot on YouTube lately. I don't want to, give any shine to the people bringing it up, but it's a real issue that needs to be addressed because, we have the problems out here, but you'll get some people who lack political sophistication. And I'm going to just say that they lack political sophistication. They lack knowledge of how to really acquire power. And they'll say, well, if we just fight and we'll just fight them and we'll go to war. And I'm just like, dude. First of all, I'll say this for all of your listeners. Mm-hmm. If you see somebody doing it, they got a video saying something like that publicly, well, it's enough you there. You don't know what they're going to, why they said it or whatever. Don't comment on it. Don't comment on it. Don't co-sign on it. All this information, when you get people like that, you got agent provocateurs within the community who are serving somebody's agenda. As soon as you say something on there, your name gets flagged. I don't care how obscure you think you are, you go into a database, right? And people remember that. Remember, we're in a high security system now, especially since 9/11. So anything is flagged. Don't think something too small isn't being flagged, especially when you have AI with that. Be careful when you say that, right? Be careful just to promote that, because trust me, because I have, let's just say I have associates in security establishment, and you can't find any social media for them because they know what's up. And I've had people even tell me, like, just unofficially, be careful what I say. So first of all, if you even see somebody saying that, they either an agent or they stupid. And I mean that. And if anybody wants to come for me saying something, I will tell them that, and I will tell them that publicly if I have to, because that's not very intelligent. I'm going to tell you what. Understand, you have an apparatus that if somebody threatened President Trump just on a minor thing, they got Secret Service or FBI at their door right away. And it could be just somebody venting, but somebody is like checking into it. So first of all, you got to consider that. Now, let's get into wanted to do two things with the whole, several things with the white supremacy thing, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, there is some type of uprising by black men, right? Mm-hmm. Hypothetically. All right. First of all, you have to think about what are you going to do with the armed forces, incidentally, who have a large number of black men in it.
Right.
In any revolutionary movement, you have to know, you got to figure out what you're going to do with the army. Now, just to be clear, I'm not talking out the side of my neck or anything. When I was in college, I had a minor of politics, and the classes I took had to do with revolution development, revolutionary movements, and all of that from someone who I believe might have been CIA connected, right? So this is like, I'm not just, you could say I have a level of expertise in it, plus with some stuff I did in my professional life. So the first thing you got to think, all right, you got to deal with the military. You have to deal with the surveillance systems. You got to deal with drones, satellites, GPS, right? First of all, how you going to amass, if you got a gun purchase or mass gun purchases, that's tracked. Everything is tracked. Chatter on the internet is tracked. So one, you got a hard enough time um, even organizing something like that. Two, you taking on somebody, you dealing with the military. Now say through some comic book intervention, you win. Okay, then you got to convince the people that they should support you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to convince the people that they should support you, because the people, the masses never get involved in any type of fight. They just like, as long as they can eat, sleep, and fuck in peace, they good. Mm-hmm. They only get pissed if you interfere with that. Because in many in many revolutions, I'm gonna tell you what, anybody could check this, and anybody experienced with real politics, they can tell you this. Whenever a group comes to power, they have to spend enough time, because they can't deliver on their promises. They got to become just as repressive as the government that they removed. Mm-hmm. Because since they can't deliver on their promises, right? The people get restless and they start saying, well, you know what? We want that. We want what we had back. You'll see that. And that's why, especially in Africa, where you have many revolutionary movements, after a while, the people are like, well, we got to get them out of here. Mm-hmm. Mobutu had to go. Mugabe was like, oh, you know what? It was cool, dog, but you've been here too long. You got to go. Mm-hmm. Any place. The ANC at one point in South Africa, they were the darlings of the world. Not anymore. Because once you get into power, it's a change. Because when you talk about it, gets into the whole power thing, right? So hypothetically, and then even in a war, right, you got to think, okay, who's going to finance this thing? Mm-hmm. Who's going to make the guns? Okay, all somebody has to do is say, okay, let's cut their supply lines, make sure they don't get weapons. They got to run out of bullets. It's so many logistical things going on. Mm-hmm. In fact, I don't think, with the exception of maybe the Middle East and some flare-ups in some small places, I don't think you're going to see anything major in the Western world, despite all the trash they talk, because one, the world is so economically tight that even in the United States, if there was some type of uprising like that, other countries might be like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. They about to blow up some banks. They about to mess with some communication systems. That's our money. So it's, people jumping in. It's a lot of stuff you got to think about. Mm-hmm. And on a practical level, physical warfare, that's like the last resort. Mm-hmm. All wars are the result of economics. Mm-hmm. All wars are a result of trying to, protect economic interests. If you look at colonialism, that was more of an economic thing, and any wars that came about was to protect those things. Mm-hmm. So you gotta look at all of that. Like, okay, how the money going to keep flowing? How the resources? It's a lot of little things. A lot of people just talk; they don't think about it. Now, I wanted to address that issue briefly about Black men fighting. Period. If you check the history of this country, Black men have always fought. Black men have always fought, and we don't even need to count the Haitian Revolution. Mm-hmm. That was a great example, or the Maroons in Jamaica. If you look at the history of the United States, like, people know about the Nat Turner Rebellion. A few people who really study might know about Gabriel Prosser. People might know about Denmark Vesey. Mm-hmm. And that was that was a really sophisticated organization, which incidentally was betrayed by house slaves. Incidentally. And that's something I'm going to bring up in a second too, right? So that was betrayed by house slaves. And then something people don't know about, the Gullah Wars. In history books, they call the Seminole Wars or the Black Seminole Wars. And the official history was that it was a blacks black escaped slaves fighting alongside Seminole Indians. Now, according to maybe some historians who may or may not get mainstream recognition, it was all Gullah. So we're not going to get into that. But the United States, they were more concerned about their escaped slaves because they had actually formed communities down in Florida and united with the Seminoles. That's mainstream history. There's probably more to it. And there was even a general who was quoted when they were fighting the Second Seminole Wars. A general was quoted as saying, this is a Negro war, not an Indian war. They knew who they were fighting. So we've always been fighting. Now, fast forward to the present, the last time that there could have been an armed uprising in this country was the 1960s. Mm-hmm. That's because at the time, blacks were in a second-class citizenship. Now, we're at a point now where, at least on paper, we still have citizenship. Yes, there are black men being killed in the streets. Yes, there's discrimination, but we still have legal rights. And if you want to have the conditions of revolution, you have to make a great many people uncomfortable. You have to take away their rights. And like it or not, we got the rights, even the rights to come on YouTube for everything people say and all the problems. Shoot, we can come on and say whatever. Right. So it's like, OK, the conditions aren't there. So that's killing that whole physical thing. So like I say, that was a hypothetical to begin with, because a lot of people who say that don't have any idea about revolutionary theory, military theory, anything like that. Because if there's an uprising, right, with drones and enough sympathetic U.S. Armed forces, you can put it down quickly. Mm-hmm. Because like all these white militias, right? People talk about them. And I think they're so cute because everybody, they got their guns and everything. You also take them out like in a week. It's like they don't have gunships. They don't have drones. And if anything even get bigger, you use like regular army troops or National Guard, whatever. You hold the cities. And then you divide the country up into different sections, send special forces after different groups, and you knock out something in a week. It really could stop it. You infiltrate it. And really, people got to realize the security apparatus here. So let's get that out of the way. And I'm just letting people know, because if you're going to talk, remember, there's a penalty for it. You are flagged. You are flagged. Even this conversation might get flagged. Mm-hmm. I'm already flagged, too, for other reasons. Let's just say I used to sit by a door. So, look, people got to think about that, right? Now, here's the biggest issue, though. A physical fight is useless. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. is well known for losing the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. But there was a conversation, supposed conversation, this might be apocryphal, but there was a conversation between a U.S. general and a Vietnamese general. And supposedly, see, it's like one of those things. I'm not sure if it actually took place. It might have. If somebody in the comments is familiar with the actual actors in that case, please share with us. But supposedly the American general said to the Vietnamese general, he said, you know what? Y'all never won one battle. Y'all never beat us in the field. And the Vietnamese general looked at him and said, yep. But that was irrelevant. We still won. Understand something. When people talk about white supremacy, whoever killing a bunch of whites is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. White supremacy is not represented by a white man. Let me say that again. It's not represented by a white man. In fact, you have whites who identify themselves as white nationalists who are not white supremacists. A white nationalist, a white supremacist say we're superior. White nationalists just say, you know what, I'm all about white boys, right? They might, you got some whites out there, they think the whole idea is whack. White supremacy is not a physical person. Because, okay, hypothetically, in comic book world, in Thanos world, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody got the Infinity Gauntlet, they get rid of all white people. White supremacy hasn't died.
That's true.
Because white supremacy is an ideology. It's not biology, it's an ideology. There's plenty of whites who don't believe in it. They don't follow it. They think it's whack. Mm-hmm. And they'll tell you, look, the whole idea is whack. They will sit there and tell you that. They'll explain it to you. Mm-hmm. But then you also got some blacks, they look like you and me, O'Shea. And shoot, The white man's ice is colder.
Woo!
We
Don't you
got
start
some.
nothing.
We got some people on YouTube like that. That was like because white supremacy. You can't physically kill white supremacy. It has to be killed in your mind. If you kill, okay, hypothetically, Thanos glove, you get rid of all white people. And I know some of y'all brothers out there, I get like, oh no, not Becky. No,
Kill all the white people.
shoot, they be fighting you too. They be shoot. They be trying to call themselves Avengers to stop you from killing Becky. Let's be real.
Yeah,
But
let's keep it real.
here's the thing. So they died, but then what happened? You got the same mentality on another level.
Mm-hmm.
Colorism, that's a symptom of white supremacy. Or blacks who simply refuse to identify with other blacks. That's white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Wearing weaves in women wearing weaves in their hair. That's a sign of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got to wear a wig, I mean, there are natural wigs if you have to wear one.
Right.
Yeah, I know I just fired a shot. Anyway, right? Anyway, right? But seriously though, it's seriously the white supremacy because, and plus, here's the thing about white supremacy. Whites aren't what they are unless you got to hold them. If somebody got in your face, right? Like say some dusty dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of these dudes who want to write for the Negro manosphere who can't like put two sentences together, right?
Okay.
And they say, I'm a great person, I'm a great writer, I'm the man, and you looking at him like, Negro, please.
Mm-hmm.
You're not holding them up as being supreme. But say there's another thing of you do hold that person up as being supreme. White supremacy requires two people. You requires one person to think they better, and then the other person to agree with them.
Yes.
If you're going to kill white supremacy, you kill it up here.
Mm-hmm.
And some people, seriously, we know how it is. We got blacks who believe the white man's ice is colder.
Mm-hmm.
So killing a bunch of them or fighting them is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
After the Thanos glove, it just be the same people. Only thing is they just look like you. They'll be distant relatives. They be your cousins.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the only difference. So if someone says, "Look, we got to kill that in our minds, and we have to fight that in our minds," I'm all for that.
Okay.
I'm all for that. Now let me go some more, man, because Rom getting into his element of politics, right?
Go ahead, get your thing on, dog.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? A very important thing out here for economics, for politics, for everything. This is why BGS talks about this a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Demographics do not favor white people right now. What would you have a small percentage who got like money up to here, but the rest of the population is dying out. The what is it? The replacement level is like below what it needs to like for population growth. People don't realize one of the reasons you have so many immigrants, not so much in the United States. Well, they're in the United States because white people don't want to like pick the crops and do all the other stuff that immigrants will do. Right. That's one thing. Mm-hmm. Like we don't want to do the work. A Mexican president actually said that years ago. It's like, hey, we're doing all the work y'all don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So, but in Europe, the population is aging. They ain't having kids. So that's why those immigrants are there. They need people to work to support the older people. The white population is dwindling. Mm-hmm. Even now, you see in a lot of cases where businesses that might have are disappearing, they're not supporting the same thing. In fact, that's even affecting the economy. Because the biggest thing in the economy, everybody got all this technical stuff and they want to throw all these things around, make it sound esoteric, whatever, magic. The key to the economy is consumer spending. Consumers spend stuff on what they value. Mainstream culture in the United States is dwindling because the white mainstream population is dwindling. Mm-hmm. We're talking within 30 years, they will not be the majority in this country. At best, the plurality in this country, but not the majority. The majority of people will be non-white. So, and it's already happened in Texas. I remember I saw a 60 Minutes episode where they were defending affirmative action in terms of placing like non-white students into like the better schools there. Mm-hmm. And a white man got on there and said, look, we're going to be a minority here. We want blacks and Latinos and Asians who can run the place. So it's like, wait a minute. It's like, wait a minute. People talking about fighting and killing, but you got low birth rates. Blacks are, I mean, not blacks, but like whites are minority, are not the majority in at least 4 states right now. Probably more if you want to count. Well, District of Columbia ain't gonna count that. I think whites have like took that back over, but it's going to be more. I mean, I've seen a documentary one time about a town in Pennsylvania, Steel Country, Pennsylvania, that used to be majority white. Now, Hispanics to come and take over. They changing the very character of the country. So it's like you don't have to like pick up a AR-15 or anything or even talk that. All you have to do is position yourself to take over. See, what we need to be talking about, we need to let the whites, choke out on opiates and stuff, because that's a big deal too. And I mean, it's really pitiful. We need to be focused on building our stuff up. That's what we should be talking about, and stop thinking, oh, the white man's going to save us. Too many of us still on this, oh, the white man going to take care of us and we got to do that. I'm like, nah, they might not be in a position to in 30 years. We got to get in a position where we stop asking them to save us and take care of ourselves. Right? But but it's the mindset. It comes back to killing the mindset of white supremacy in our minds. Stop thinking, oh, this is it there. That's like, no, they're not showing it. Now, this ain't against just to be clear, this isn't what I'm saying isn't spouting racism. I'm just saying against that concept of white supremacy, which you get blacks who are white supremacists, you get Asians. Yeah, you get Asians, you get Latinos. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to keep the whole concept propped up that they start acknowledging that Latinos are actually white. All of them ain't like descended from the Aztecs. Right. All of them ain't black. In fact, what we would call Latino coming from Mexico, they call themselves white. They identify themselves. When I was working in the government, let's just say I worked on a project and I got to see how the dominant population in Mexico identify themselves. They say they white. In fact, I remember on an Arsenio Hall show years ago, I think he had this actress, Maria Conchito Alonso, I believe her name was. And I remember Arsenio was like, well, how do y'all deal with the white people in your country? And she said, we are the white people in our country. So we might see a situation where all of a sudden, and I actually personally know some Latinos, they identify themselves as white. So that definition might expand, but whatever the case, it's an ideology, and it's always been an ideology. And the only thing blacks need to do is kill it in their mind. So for the sisters wearing weaves, you supporting that ideology. And I'm gonna say it, or you straightening your hair. If your hair ain't natural, if you ain't wearing a natural hair, you supporting it. And even then, some natural hair sisters are supporting it. You got plenty of brothers look like Pookie and Ray Ray. They supporting it. So if you don't have to kill it there, but you got to kill that spirit. Okay. Right? Now, if you got any questions, because I got another part to it, because I can outline how black people can acquire power.
Okay, well, let's do that. I was just letting you get your, Ron Wills, Edward. I don't know, man. When they get on their stuff, these are some of the best long-winded, but, when Ron is long-winded, I like it. Edward, I like it when you long-winded too. Don't get jealous, man. So let me do this real quick. Brother AM1, he donated a super chat of $10. Now, I keep hearing everybody talk about, oh, he dropping knowledge, preach. Lorenzo Davis, I got to call you out, nigga, but did you like the video, though? So listen, man, do me a favor, right? This is one of our own brothers, man. He stopped by. He's not a person that really does a whole lot of these, but he decided to come back and fellowship with us today. And so appreciate the brother for him coming by. This is Ron Wills. For those of you who don't know, I will put his link in the description. Guys, do me a favor, like the video. We have 212 of you brothers a day. We have one of our best people over here. And you could at least like the video for the brother, because you don't have to come over here and share it with us, right? So it's always good to get our top guys. We had Alan Roger Curry, Donovan Sharp earlier a few days ago. Now we have Rom. All these guys are very busy and are doing great things in their personal life. But we get them to come over here, and they don't have to do that for us. So at least like the video. Thank you, brother Samuel Adams, for the super chat of $4.99. I appreciate you. And for those who are not subscribed to Ron Wills, do me a favor. Let me press 2 in the chat. I'll get you the link to subscribe. But go ahead on, brothers. Keep the super chats coming. Keep the likes coming. Now, Ron, you want to go into the second part of that, which is how can blacks acquire power? And then I have a secondary question after you get through with that.
Well, that's going to be wild. So you need to tell me that question.
Well, let me. What I want to ask you then, because you know my bladder. I don't know, man. When you come on, man, I start drinking this coffee. Here's what I want to know, because I just came back from Johannesburg, and then I was in Brazil earlier this month. Thank you, my brother Stephen Bowler. It's funny you mentioned that the Mexicans who we would consider Hispanic in America, in Brazil, they are classified as white.
Yeah,
that's true. But here's why, let's deal with this white man's ISIS colder situation, because that's a problem that we even have here in the manosphere, especially amongst us. Even, when it comes to establishing black-owned media sites, or, working with other brothers and stuff like that, even if you are paying brothers or doing the right things by them, they still will try to get away. Some, not all, right? They would rather get, deal with white people because for whatever reason they think that the road is going to end up more better long term. In situations like this, how can black people, especially black men, instead of making their own ice cold, stop thinking that the white man's ice is always colder? How can we start, really focusing on working with one another as a community, versus always thinking that, the white man is better, the white man is doing this more, I can't trust niggas and shit like that?
Well, one of the main things is just propaganda. We need to see better media that shows that what we are doing. Because if you really look at the media, all we see is negative images or when we fuck up. Of course, on social media, you'll see about the brother who, got 14 scholarships to Ivy League schools or Ivy Leagues and, similar type of schools, stuff like that. And, it gets passed around until then the next day is something else. But then you see like somebody done shot somebody or dealt some drugs or something. You see their picture plastered on the evening news. So we got to deal with the propaganda. Another thing is just be realistic. Now, this might offend like some white guys listening to it, but I got to be real. I've worked around a lot of whites, and I'm not seeing where it's super competent. When I was working for other people, I think I only worked for a black company one time. And that was bad. They were bad, but they were actually owned by a bigger white company. All I've seen is dysfunction. I've worked in a lot of places. I'm gonna tell you two things I've seen. Two things I've seen personally. And I've worked in retail. I've worked in gyms. I worked for an internet site. I worked in the government. I see a lot of incompetent ass whites. One. And then two, I see a lot of places propped up by some black people who ain't getting any shine or, any acknowledgement. There's a lot of that. Like the first thing is just forget all propaganda, forget what you think. Just look. Is this being run well? Because O'Shea, come on, man, you're a doctor, you educated, even though I try to act like I'm just some drunk driving down the street looking at young girls, I've been in different crowds. I haven't seen this super competence up close. I really haven't. I see a lot of poorly run businesses. The only time I've seen competent run businesses halfway, and that's from the outside, is maybe some Asian stuff, to be real with you. But a lot of it, if we really think about, is it ice colder? Like if you go in like a retail establishments, if I want to find the best salesman, and this is a stereotype, but I found it to be true, I look for the black person. Seriously, I would look for the black person. I would say, all right, let me find the best salesman in here. I'll look for the black person first. Right? It's like just look, sit back and pay attention. Just like in sports, you got brothers dominating football and basketball. We'll probably start dominating hockey, and we don't care about baseball, even though I started to like it recently. But If you start looking, or you go to some of these businesses and you look who's really working hard, who's putting in the work, it ain't the white guys. In fact, what I've seen in a lot of places, you'll get some black white people who will own something, then the blacks will own are running it. You know, the managers and everything, keeping it sharp. So one of the things is, is it really colder? I mean, if you got to be totally honest, is it colder or is that propaganda? That's up close and personal. See, think about it. I know a lot of brothers probably work at some place and they know they see what's up. And it's like, wait a minute. Only thing you see is some politics and people looking out for each other. But is it better? Is it? Is it being run? Like I said, I've seen companies at different levels that just didn't make sense. It was just you just saw it's like, wait a minute, how did this person get up there? How did this person get in that position? So we have to be just honest. It's like, look, is it colder? Or we just think in our minds because we elevating it to be colder.
Okay.
That's even with the brothers going for white women. I know you got a lot of brothers doing that, but
oh man, yeah.
Only difference, in my opinion, is the sisters show you what they about up front. The white, you find out with the white women later. I know a lot of white women who had brothers who were cheating on them. A whole lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I got accused of cheating with about 2 or 3 of them. I was like, nah, man, that's that dude over there. That ain't me. You know, that ain't me. I don't want your I don't want your woman. I'd be like, it's like your woman is stank, man. It's like, shoot, got a herpes sore on her like mouth or something. I ain't messing with her. Man. But yeah, there's you know, we gotta attack just that mindset and ask, is it really true?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is the white man's ice colder? And then here's something else too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna get a bunch of trolls on my page and stuff, some alt-right people. But my fist has found their face before because I still got some thug in me. One of the things we have to ask, if it's so colder, why so many white women are willing to be disowned to get with a brother and pop out a brother's baby? So start asking some stuff. If it's so colder, why do so many try to emulate us? I want y'all to think about that. Think about that. Ask yourself that. Whites will spend more time trying to emulate us than we do them. The only thing they got right now is collectively more money. But you run the right type of business, which I'm gonna get into.
Okay.
That money can flow this way. So you got any question before I talk about the whole power piece, man?
Okay, so let me do this, guys. Do me a favor. For those people, we have 228 people watching live right now. Still not enough brothers that are liking the video. And also, let me just do this for people who want to, who have donated. Let me go ahead again and shout you out. And shout out to my brother Rain Knights. He just hit me with $50 on the PayPal, brother. Thank you so much, man. You're always supporting. I really appreciate you. And guys, we are getting a moderator poll. I submitted it. It will be up. We have moderator mania for negromanosphere.com. Shout out to brother Samuel Adams II, brother Stephen Bowler. Thank you, family, for the donation of $4.99 apiece. Let me just say this real quick, Ron, and I got to be honest. Okay, I got to be a little bit honest. I've went to Uganda. Okay, and this is sometimes like when I went to Uganda where the whites have pretty much been out of there for at least over 50 years. You go to South Africa, Johannesburg, it's the whites were there until 1994, until apartheid, still there. And I gotta admit, it does appear that wow, this country is way more developed than Uganda. Now I'm not saying that it's a white man's ice is colder, but we do have, it seems like, as African Americans or Black people, managing our own things. We have issues with corruption and stuff like that sometimes. Respecting other people. Like Africa, all the time you see one president wants to do something, he gets that going, and then another president will come in and stop it, and things don't happen. What's that about? Because we do have an issue for some reason when it comes to the Negro and managing certain things. And I'm all for Black people. Like I have negromanosphere.com, so I'm not trying to talk down about us at all. But we do got to address that we do have the potential, but for whatever reason, it's something that's the clicking that we don't reach it. We don't pay people on time a lot of times. We don't do the things that we're supposed to do to build the infrastructure things that we should have when we do have the talent and we do have the money. We're like the Raiders of old. They have the best players on paper, but they can't win no games. So what is that disconnection that we have as a group of, especially a group of brothers, that we have the talent, we have the money, and we still can't get things together?
All right. Well, I don't think you're going to get as much money or likes on this video because I'm going to piss some more people off. But I got to be real with it.
Got to be real.
Part of it's the whole white man's ice is colder thing. A lot of it's just confidence, man. A lot of it is just confidence. You know, we as black men need to think sovereign. It's like the buck stops with you, responsible. See, too many of us have been conditioned to work for the white man and to work for somebody else and to feel like,
say that part again.
We've been conditioned to work for the white man and to see his stuff is better, even though it really isn't. See, understand something about me. I got a fucked up mentality. You know, my mother told me I'm supposed to run the world. So I've always had a sovereign mentality. People look at me and say, damn, Rom, you walk like you about to take over the world. And I'm be like, yeah, pretty much. You know, and they thinking I'm joking. I'm like, nah, I've never saw white men or the way they did thing as superior to any other person. You know, I'm shit. You could almost call me chauvinistic in that environment, but I've never seen it. But you'd be surprised how many people, black male and female, think a white person will do it better, right? I remember I worked on this job back when 1985. I was still in college, right? And it was a summer job, and it was something where we got to train a bunch of high schoolers and stuff and different stuff. It was a busy job, you know, one of Marion Barry's stuff to keep us busy, right? And I remember we had this young man who was kind of a problem. Right. But I was able to talk to him, straighten him out, man. He was like, he just had too much energy, just had to direct it. But this sister said, well, maybe if this white woman says something to him. And I looked at her, I said, what the fuck she gonna say to him? I already knew, because I ain't been talking to the brother anyway. Like I said, you just need to talk to him. He wasn't bad at all. He's probably like CEO of a millionaire by now. But she said, well, maybe if this white person said something to him, it's like, what the fuck? And this was like a conscious woke sister who said that. You know, it's that mindset that they're going to do better. And I'm just like, the reality don't point that out. It doesn't. I haven't seen it. The only thing that's keeping like a lot of these businesses, a lot of what they do propped up are people like us. There's some competent folks among them, but it's usually any business. You only got if you got, a department store, because I've worked in one, you can go through, there might be 7 or 8 people out of 200 who are really keeping the place running, and everybody else is just there. Right. But my point with that is just to say, we have that mentality, it's going to be better. So then when we get in a position, we're not thinking, okay, the buck stops here. We're not thinking the responsibility thing. We coming up in a position like, oh, let me play this game with Mr. Charlie so I can make money. Let me play the role with him. A lot of us are that way. A lot of us get in corporate America, and we say to ourselves, okay, I got to look presentable to white people. Or here's something I've seen. You ever see those brothers who are loud as shit? Loud, they talk trash, they the man. I mean, you be thinking they're straight alpha male. They get around a white man, they be like, yes, yeah. You be thinking, it's like, damn, can you talk?
Oh, yeah.
It's shit. I'm the same way, regardless of who I'm around.
Right.
You know, I'm the same way. The same way I'm talking to you, I'm talking to them. And I've been that way. In fact, when I worked in the government, I used to get in trouble sometimes because you get some supervisor or something talking some smack, or, you know, like, do this. Like, dude, that's a stupid ass plan. They be like, my ass got man. Man, I was kind of, because I was like, you know, I was like rebellious as hell, man. I look at it, they respected it though, because I wasn't backing down. I wasn't playing like that, you know, we sick, boss. Right. I was like, they'd be like, I'm sick. I'll be like, damn, you gotta get some chicken soup because I Shoot, you know I'm coming from your job, right? Shit, man. It was like, nah, yeah. That's why I got to work for myself now, man, because I cannot. I mean, I've almost got in fights with white supervisors because I was not taking that bullshit.
Mhm.
You know, I wasn't taking that bullshit. But see, part of the problem is, and this is part of the power thing. We might as well seg into that.
Okay. Let
We've
me
been
go ahead. Go
conditioned.
ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. I can hold the thought. Go ahead.
Let me do this real quick. Let me shout out to the brother Mr. Punisher. He says black people need more critical thinkers and less entertainers that keep blacks at a sub level thinker. Thank you so much, brother, for
Mm-hmm.
the 5 hour super chat. And we also have my brother Super Triz finally able to catch y'all Negroes live. Thank you so much for 499 super chat. We got 250 people watching, brothers. Thank you for coming in. If you got questions, you guys know, want to support the stream. This is, like I said, this is a negromanosphere.com associated stream. So for those of you who read the articles every day, Rom's columns comes out every Thursday. Mine is now coming out every Friday. Alan Roger Curry comes out on Monday. Donovan on Wednesday. Tony Macy on Tuesday. Brothers, go ahead and like the video. We really appreciate you, brothers, and keep supporting the stream as you will. So, Rom, let's go ahead and segue into the other segment that you wanted to talk about today.
Well, the power piece. Now, the power piece, the first thing is economics. But if you look at black people as a whole, we are conditioned to work for white people.
Okay.
If you look at it, everything we do is like, we got to be acceptable. Too many brothers in corporate America, they will try to dial down their natural masculinity and who they are and being able to stand up to get along there. Because, I mean, look, whether the white man's ice is cold or not, for the time being, they got the money. For the time being, right? So we've been conditioned to always see, especially since integration. We had to have our hair cut right, our facial hair, all that stuff, to please white people. In fact, there was just a Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court said, hey, a company can discriminate on the basis of you having locks. So it's like, we got to change our physical appearance. We got to change how we carry ourselves, how we walk, everything to please whites. Now, economically, if we want power, it's no ifs, ands, and buts. I mean, I know there's some people out there talking about reparations and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, we need to two things: start businesses and do them well. That's the two things, right? And get into some stuff. We could build up wealth just by people like starting some restaurants. Shoot, you can build up wealth pretty quickly, in fact, right? We got to be thinking business, business, business. Because what happens, I'm going to tell you how it really works. Because, of course, there's some people think, oh, well, if we get more politicians, it'd be all right. Well, how many cities around this country got black mayors, police chiefs, and everything, and the place is falling apart?
Oh,
it's too many. That's because you got to get the economics first. You get the businesses first. If you look at the Asians, right? You starting now just to see some Asians starting to run for office, right? They getting into it. In fact, you got a 1 millionaire Asian, Andrew Yang, who's running for president, on the Democrat side. He got some powerful stuff too. But you notice what they do. They sat back, they did nails, they did the stuff at the corner stores, laundries, everything.
Right.
They built that up. And what they did with those businesses, they joined with other businesses. They got associations and all of that. They can start wielding political power because you weld it, because if you got the economics, you pay politicians. Politicians are nothing but hitmen for somebody.
Right.
Because you go to any politician, look, if you got $10 million, you can go to the biggest redneck, hate black people, and say, you know what, I'm gonna give you $10 million. I want you to do this, that, and the third for black people in your district. Guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna switch up. So you get the economics first, and then you control the politicians, right? You control the politicians, and then, that controls the police force, the government processes, and everything. Now, that's just the economic part. Let's get into the politics part, right? So you got the businesses. A thing that blacks could use to come into like some real power is a black-led political party. If you look in Africa, okay, South Africa, how they come into power? They ain't just like run around and stuff. They formed the ANC as well as other groups. Zimbabwe, any place, it got a political party. That's how you organize people. Any place in the world, they ain't just say, oh, we're gonna join, this the Democrats or something who ain't did shit for us, take us for granted, or the Republicans who take some stuff. We say, look, why don't we form this? Now, some people say, that's impossible. I'm like, look, understand something. If you look at the people who vote in every election, only 50% of the population is even registered to vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if out of that 50% who are registered, if 50% of that, which is 25% of the US population, show up to vote, that's considered a high turnout.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. 25% of the American population showing up to vote is a high turnout. All right. So the politics thing, you form a black-led political party, right? You leave the Democratic plantation, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Republicans are viable as a political party after Trump, I'll be shocked. But that's another conversation. I told you my political side coming up, right? But okay, black-led, right? You get it organized. It's backed up by the economic force, right?
Mm-hmm.
The businesses and stuff. It's financed by that, right? It's black-led because nothing all black is going to win anyway. It doesn't need to.
Mm-hmm.
But you form alliances with other groups based on their interests.
Right.
You form alliances with maybe, depending on the lean, because black people in general are conservative, but we vote Democrat, which still hasn't made sense. But maybe you have some groups, you hit some groups, you can hit some white farmers, right? White landowners or something, rural type of people. Say, look, you support our party, we make sure the bank don't foreclose on your property, and we'll keep Tyrone away from your daughter. We good? And then it's like, okay, yeah, they support you. You hit there's different groups in the country you can kind of ally with, or you can allow into your fold, and then there's some who just going to join anyway. Right? You don't shoot for the presidency. One of the mistakes alternate parties make in the United States, they want to run somebody for president. To me, that's stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. They probably won't win. They'll get a few votes, but the Democrats and Republicans got the airwaves.
Right.
But you form a party, right? Black-led party. You go for local elections. You go for neighborhood commission elections, school boards, county council, city council, whatever. Anything that's run, dog catcher, judge. You start off slow. Then you hit congressman, Senate, all of that. And you just build it up slowly. Then once you got kind of established, you got some track record, then you head for the presidency. And politically, backed by the economics, you got significant control over the country. And then one of the things with the economics, you're going to need maybe a few black-owned businesses to really get big and powerful. Like a lot of people don't remember Reginald Lewis, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was back in 1989. He engineered a leveraged buyout of Beatrice. That was a global flu conglomerate.
Okay.
Right, like they had stuff every place. You need a few more Reginald Lewis's because you need some big businesses, because businesses like that and people with that type of clout and ownership can make a difference elsewhere. You look at somebody like Bill Gates. He's very big over in Africa trying to promote an agenda, a depopulation agenda, but that's what billionaires do. Jeff Bezos, who lives in DC now, he bought the Washington Post. So basically his agenda is in a major newspaper. And we already know what he's done to retail. Mm-hmm. And now this dude is like getting into food and everything. That's the economic power. Now, at some point, Jeff Bezos is going to start financing politicians. I guarantee it.
This is a guy that owns Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the purpose of those politicians are to protect his interests.
Right.
That's how it works. See, one thing with blacks, man, we got it. We think we thought we got it, all these political positions, and politics really empowering the people Like politicians hasn't worked since Tammany Hall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those old boss type of machines and stuff, delivering whatever services. And it hasn't worked in DC since Marion Barry because he had a machine. Trust me, he had a machine. So, you know, the politicians, they work for the corporate concerns because that's the world today. So you start with economics, you get with that. Now you get, let's bring it back to what we were talking about. The whole war with white supremacy thing. Dude, if you got money, you're able to create jobs, you got politicians in your pocket, what's more powerful than that? Because if you're going to talk about this, it's all about power. Forget somebody saying we're doing it for the people. When people do stuff, they're doing it for power. Let's just be real.
Right.
And that's one thing black men especially have to understand the world is about power. It ain't about all this other bullshit. And any women who want to talk some smack, they got to understand it's about power. It's about power. You go any place in the world and I speak and I talk the same thing. The powerful people going to understand exactly what I'm saying. I guarantee there's people listening who might not comment, who's like, oh, yeah, that's it. Especially if they're in a place of power. Mm-hmm. Now, I learned about that. I knew this. One of the dudes who I learned a lot of game from, ironically, runs, or he did at one point, ran Jamaica from behind the scenes. And at first I thought he was bullshit until I saw his name in a paper one time. I was like, oh, shit. It's like, damn. Because I think he helped found some political party down there. So this dude, me and him talk politics all the time. But we were talking real power. Mm-hmm. But the key to it is the economic thing. You don't separate the two. One of the reasons why black politicians haven't had the power that they could because it wasn't backed by black money. Mm-hmm. In fact, let me talk about in DC, and the people in DC, I know this person, Marion Barry, right. Infamous, mayor for life, right? He was backed more by some whites than people realized. When he first came to power, he's backed by whites. Now he got to the point he was on some black nationalist stuff, but I remember when he was reelected to mayor in 1994. And I remember he's on stage chilling, right? Mm-hmm. Had all these black people behind him, but there was a tall white man back there being real quiet. And I said, all right, yeah, that's where his money came from, probably. Just being real quiet, because whenever you see that, that's the case. Because, like I said, it was into the politics. When I was in D.C., I actually sat in on a meeting of D.C.'s power brokers. This one back when it was strongly chocolate city. You know, had a mostly black city council, you know, black people running everything. I'm sitting in a meeting with the real power brokers in D.C., and that wasn't even the top level. That was next to the top level. Right, because the next to the top level they ain't having the likes of me in there if you ain't part of that group. Now, when I was in that meeting, you had a couple blacks, and I was a guest there. But these were like just white men sitting around. They look like the type of person like, you know, they live in a modest. They would look like they live in a modest neighborhood or something, and go out to get their newspaper or something in a bathrobe or something, or be sitting out there in their pajamas and everything. You know. It's that power thing. So we get the economics first, and then the politician, and then, you know, that affects the government services, that controls the police forces, that changes the whole thing. That's what we should be doing instead of some people on some like, you know, Killmonger fantasy.
Okay,
that's how you get power.
I gotta ask you a really interesting question, but let me first shout out. Shout out to Charles Gilmore. I'm checking the super chat streams here. I am broke, but I will trick the support. I think I saw Anthony Brian Logan in the building, guys. Thanks for coming through, brothers. Do me a favor while we got Rom on the line. For those of you, we have 159 likes currently on the video. Like I said, it's very hard to get Rom on here. He typically makes me wait, 35,000 years. So, brothers, this is one of our own. Let's go ahead and like the video for our own people, right? Because it starts by supporting our own as we're doing right now and tell people about it. So if you can like the video, that would be great. Here's what I want to say, because this is a black male podcast. NegroManosphere.com is an African-American centered, although not limited to, but it is centered around the African-American experience. We do have some readers in Nigeria, some readers in South Africa, because we do promote in those countries. But it's been my statement that black men are their own. Shout out to Brother Tony Mason. We talked earlier today. We should be looking at each other as our own separate group, because a lot of times when we talk about black community things, we include black women in it for whatever reason it seems, because we do have this sort of, black women have their own typical agenda that doesn't include us. And here black men are trying to work with black women who, trying to fight for some authority in the community. Do you think that black men politically should look at themselves as their own respected group, leaving black women to their own devices for the time being, and then attack it that way? Because it will be too hard, because so many black women are on the Democratic Party. So many black women are liberal. So many black women and black men can't get along right now. So is there a way that you think that black men themselves can say, okay, this is our plan, we'll lead, and for right now, we're not worried about what they're doing, and we're just trying to do these things for ourselves. And then at a later date, maybe we can reconvene with them. What do you think about that?
I'm real down with that. I'm gonna tell you how it should go. The men, if you look at the history of the world, it was always men's societies that made things happen. Whether it was the samurai, Dakota Sioux, the Nazi Party, it was always circles of men that came together, committed, and made things happen. It's always been that way. The founding of the United States was actually by a coalition of several secret societies, male secret societies. If you look at groups like the Masons, a male group. Now they have females who might be attached, but it's always at the male thing. You have women who say, well, we haven't built. Okay. All right, fine. Y'all do y'all thing over there. We're going to build. But here's the thing. If you were supportive of us building, we embrace you. If you weren't, you will burn. And that's a message to any women out there who, they complaining about some stuff. They say, okay, me and him talking about building. Me and O'Shea talking about building. Many brothers are talking about building.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to do that. But don't think you can put us down, or you can say we ain't shit, and then once we build something, like, oh, no, fuck that. If you were with us from the beginning, you will be with us.
Right.
We will embrace you. But anybody else, nah, you out. A simple term, nature's oldest law, survival of the fittest. So you either with us or you're against us.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about power now. It's like, nah, we don't have time to play. We ain't gonna play that game of, oh, you didn't believe in us, and then all of a sudden we're gonna embrace you. No. We're gonna, hey, look, there's 3 million more black women than there are black men in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I mean, just more women than men.
Right.
There's enough that support us who will do what we need them to do. Stand, they'll still stand with us, but they realize as men, we got to do our thing. And we just go with them. Anybody else can kick rocks.
Let me ask you this. Right?
Now I'm going to tell y'all how power is. Let me finish the story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me tell y'all how power is. If it's a choice between me and my family eating and you starving, guess which one I'm going to pick? So you either a part of my family or you're not. And that's how men, we got to start thinking, because everybody ain't for us. You got people out there, including some men. Let me not put this just on the women. You got some men out there ready to tear this shit down because of lack of vision or whatever. If you're not for us, you're against us. It's just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, brother.
This is what I want to say, right? Because this title, Should Black Men Be Physically Fighting White Supremacy? There's a whole, and I'm about to write a piece on this week about, black men protecting or have failed to protect, black women or the black community. We hear these certain things. And you made a awesome video. I haven't watched the whole thing about many black men don't even have children, which is true, even though they say, you niggas are out there having all these children, you having kids you can't take care of. But one of the reasons why they say, well, black men are not out there fighting white supremacy, you're not even protecting your women from this or that. You're not providing for, your group of women, and all of these things. And so because this is one of the reasons why they said you're not fighting white supremacy, because you're not protecting us. You're not building for Black women and things of this nature. So what do you have to say to women who have that particular attitude when they come out and say, you Black men are just not effective. You Black men are not, you're not marrying anybody. What makes you think that you can do this? And you look what you've done in the last 50 years and what you haven't done. There are some women that have these talking points and they say these things
I'm gonna tell you
about
what
Black
with
men.
them.
What do you have to say about that?
I challenge them. I say, are you in the community? Are you actually talking to a Black male? Or are you looking for some pretty motherfucker with some nice hair or something that is like stimulating your loins? Are you paying attention to the brothers building? Because I actually get out and work with those brothers. I challenge any woman to say that. I talk with these brothers. I got a brother hit me up from Baltimore saying, talking about what he's doing in Baltimore, down there building playgrounds and stuff. There's a brother I'm friends with on Facebook. In fact, he was just interviewed, Marcus Klein. He was just interviewed by Boyce Watkins. He's building a school system.
Damn.
You got another brother, I think, what's his name? John Canada or Ron Canada, something, up in New York. You got brothers out here. You got brothers building businesses. You got brothers who are taking time out to mentor young men, even though they don't have as much. No, I'm gonna tell you what, with all these women saying they ain't building, they caught up into the white man's ice is colder too. That's their problem. And if they wanted to find it, they'll find it. But half of them ain't doing shit themselves. Half of them ain't reaching out for young women and trying to do something for young women. You find these women who say that, and you'll find they don't have children or they ain't doing shit. Because even the protection part, there's many a brother sitting in jail for physically killing somebody at the behest of some woman. You can't get any more protective than that. I don't even hear that shit. It's a bunch of women.
Say it again.
I don't even want to hear that shit. You got men who've been killed, even during civil rights. Look up Robert Monroe. He wrote a book, Blacks with Guns, or Negroes with Guns. They actually got in a shootout with the Ku Klux Klan back in the 50s. They ran them off. And then you had the Deacons of Defense. Yeah, they got in fights and shoot. And we ain't going to get into it. No, they've been physically defending. Brothers have been going to jail. Brothers have been jumping in to defend some women physically. And I've known brothers who work in 2 jobs to take care of their family.
Right.
But see, you got a bunch of little girls who want to say, oh, you did this and that. And I'll say, if you talk to those women, so, well, what are you doing? Where are you at? Where are you hanging around? How come you haven't seen it? And you guess, well, I see this online. Well, shit, do you go to a church and you see some brothers building some stuff? You can do random searches on the internet and find some brothers building some schools or something. I know them. Building businesses, whatever. If you want to find it, but see, deep down, those women don't want to find it anyway. That's a smoke screen, yo. That is a smoke screen. They say that, but that's just an excuse as why nobody wants their asses. That's an excuse. That's all it is. If you want to find some, how is it without trying? I can find dudes who are building shit.
That's Knee Adder. That's Knee Adder, Big Big. He's the admin of NegroManosphere.com. So for those of you, he's from Lagos, Nigeria. He lives here in Poland. So he's the guy that he built the site and he manages the site. He just dropped by. So Rom, he's the one that tags all your articles and stuff. Say hi to everybody.
Yeah, because I'm too lazy to.
Hi everyone. How many people?
Yeah,
hanging out?
264.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah,
hi everyone. My name is Ni Adebigbe. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I live here in Poland, and I am the site administrator of the Negro Manosphere. So, hi Rom. I read all your articles, and I work on the SEOs to make sure your articles pop up on Google search.
Yeah, because I don't feel like doing all that, man. I just give it to you. I just say, it's enough. I get it up there, man, on time.
Somebody says, "Oh shit,
I'm glad for what you're doing."
I can't. I'm not.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, it's cool. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Man, I hope I do. Oh shit, I hope your ears were clean and whatnot, man. But yeah, man, thank you for your work, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
your work. You're doing an outstanding job on there.
Cool.
Outstanding, man.
Thank
Because
you.
I just give you the draft and walk away and whatnot, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. It's
So,
nice meeting you, Rom.
all right, nice meeting you too, man. I appreciate what you're doing, man. You had to calm me down. I was about to go on a rant, man. Oh man.
All right. So yeah.
So I'll let you guys stay on.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to be in the bathroom.
Okay. So yeah, so shout out to Nee, man. He does a really good job. He builds the forum, and he makes sure that the site goes. When your article broke the site, he had to stay up all night.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he already don't like
I keep trying to break it again, right?
Yeah, I know. Let me ask you this also. Because a lot of black men, I made a video yesterday called "Keeping Women Out of the Black Man's Conversation," and I've been very, very adamant about that. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to separate the races or anything like that, but it seems like when it comes to black men trying to gain wealth, black men trying to gain privilege, even in the manosphere right now, there seems to be some arguments between certain guys over you don't respect women as much or certain back and forth things. Why do you think black men are so concerned about? And even I've had articles about what an alpha male is. I went back and forth with Lucario last night on my Facebook about what that is. A lot of times we define our masculinity through the eyes of women, and we define what we think a man is outside of what women think. How can these black men understand who they are as a man and how can we as black men start viewing our masculinity through our own eyes outside of the influence of black women? That's kind of what I want to know also.
Well, the whole thing is, and I did a video on it, what it means to be a man. We got to be responsible for ourselves. Because see, a woman is always going to view a man in terms of what she needs from that man. If she needs some good dick from that man, all he has to do is have a nice print, even though he can be trifling otherwise. If she need money for him, that's what she's going to see from a man. If she need a child of like a stepdaddy to her, like 4 kids by 5 brothers and stuff, that's what she's going to see. So it depends on her needs. That's why when they say, if you listen to women, when they say you ain't a real man, if you get 100 women in a room and ask each one separately what a real man is, you're going to get different answers. So when a man is dealing with that, he's going to be in trouble because he listening to one. She's saying, well, it got to be somebody who can give that good dick, right? So he thinking, okay, I got to get that good dick. But then the next one say, well, he got to have some money. Then the next one say he got to be a stepfather. Then the next one say, oh, he got to let me go like have sex with a whole bunch of other dudes. It's always going to be something. And I've actually heard women say that. There's some women in the polyamory community, they feel like a real man will have no problem with her fucking another man. So that's going to change. But that does a fucked up job because ain't no man hitting on all of those cylinders. So a man has to really be focused on, okay, what makes me a man? The thing that makes a man is he is self-responsible.
Right.
He can take responsibility for his actions. Right now, everything else is extra. If he can get a good dick and whatever, but that's extra. But that don't make him a man. A man could be, if a man is dependent on a woman to say what make him a man, like I said, he's going to be in trouble because a woman can't even decide what a man is on a weekly basis. Because depending on where the ovulation is, it could be that thug or it could be like that classic dude.
Okay.
So you can't go by that. And women are notorious for making bad choices. So how are we going to go by that? But if a man knows, he knows how to be responsible for himself. He knows he can, take care of himself. He can be an adult. He can develop his willpower. He's a man then. He knows it. And that's something that a woman can't decide to take away. See, that's the biggest thing. Men can't get caught up ultimately in what women think a man is. And here's something else too. Deep down, women want that type of man who know who he is. They fight it a little bit, but deep down, they want that sovereign man. They want that man like that. So fellas, don't get caught up in what the women want because it's going to change up. I guarantee it. Depends on what they need. It's going to change up. They change up depending on their mood. So you're going to go crazy seriously. And I've tried that at one point in my life, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. This ain't working. You can't deal with that shit, man. It's like they want to seriously. Just sit down. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. Don't believe me. Check out any of these women's YouTube channels when they talk about men. Listen to some hangouts if they're doing it. Read some articles. Watch the women that you encounter. They can't even give you the same smile every day. So how are we gonna like go by like what the fuck they want?
Right.
You know. Now I know there's some stuff they still want from us, but see, you gotta worry about what can you give because you might not be able to give that woman what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't no shame in it. That just ain't a woman for you. You just say, you know what, I can't give you what you're looking for. I've had women look for me to like be available for them all the time. I'm like, I can't be available for you. Why don't you go find somebody else to like dick you down? I walked away from some pussy that way because I said I can't give you what you want, and I'm not going to try.
Right.
You know, and that's when a man becomes a man when he got enough discipline not to allow a woman to dictate to him who he is. Because, and that's something else too with black men. And let's get back to that white supremacy thing.
Okay.
We got to be self-defined. Because I did a video on stereotypes. It was like, no, we decide what we going to be.
Right.
Collectively, we're going to decide, no, you ain't deciding, We don't care about your opinion. This is who we are. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to enforce it among ourselves.
Right.
You either deal with it or get the fuck out our way.
Right.
Or better yet, you this is what we're going to do. What you going to do about it? Like if you want to shut somebody down, say, yeah, this is who I am. What you want to do about it? If you got to, shit. You know, a man got to have integrity. Integrity with who he is.
Let me just shout out a few people. My Uncle Doug. As a collective, we loan less than 1% of business and resources, not even the full 1%. So as a collective, are we really building? We will always have to depend on whites and Asians if we continue to depend on their resources. The brother's right.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what with that.
Okay.
You can always build. That's the whole point of building. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole point. That's what I push. I'll say, look, first of all, we can't be men if we constantly dependent on others like that. So that's what we should be thinking 24/7. How we gonna build our own stuff? How we gonna get those resources?
Right.
Because in that 1% is actually a lot of people. So you got some leaders in there who know we got somebody in everything. So we need those people. We need to be hitting those people up. Say, okay, you owning something right here. What can we do to get there? You know, because it's not going to always be that way. I mean, an organized group of men can change something right away. You look at China.
Right.
100 years ago, Europe dominated China.
Right.
They were nothing. Japan kicked their ass. I mean, they were nothing. Now look at them now, 100 years. And really, they didn't really get started until the 40s. So you're talking maybe in a 70-year period where they build up towards.
Right.
So we don't have to be this way. Now we set the tone for it. Now, if we start doing our work now, that number about what we own probably be like 25%, 50, maybe even 75%. Shit can change right away. The demographics in our favor. The thing is, you don't have to accept anything. You look at Nazi Germany. When they were defeated, before they became Nazi, they were defeated. Like, just in a terrible position after World War II. In a few years, they became a dominant military power.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that happens. You got United States of America. They were once they beat like might have been the most powerful empire in the world at the time. They beat back the British Empire. Mm-hmm. Nothing can a committed group of men can do anything.
Yes.
And so I don't, okay, yeah, I see the numbers now, but they don't have to be that way.
Yeah, that's true. That's
my whole point. It's like we see it, so hey, that means we got room for growth.
Yeah.
We got room for growth. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh shoot. We got some shit to conquer because men conquer shit. Men expand their territory. But see, we got to stop acting like, oh, well, all these other people got it. Well, shoot. We open up a business next to a Chinese restaurant or something and do better business, they go out of business. We got to get out here and compete as men. And that's one thing I do give the women what they're saying that I think they want to see. They want to see us compete.
Right. Let me shout out Mr. Barlow. Thank you for the $5 super chat, brothers. Thank you for listening, you guys. If you guys want to go ahead and support the stream, the first thing you can do is like the video, right? We do have Uncle Rom here today. A lot of you guys have been staying on for 254 watching. You got about another 20, 30 minutes from me, Rom?
Yeah, I give you another third. I gotta get off at 3, man.
Okay.
I got
So
gotta deal
guys,
with the kids and everything.
all right, yeah, I ain't trying to keep you too long. So, guys, thank you so much. You guys know when you guys support, I mean, whether you guys know it or not, Rom doesn't ever ask for anything, but I always drop Rom something for coming by. You know what I mean? Depending on what y'all get. So, but I always try to, be thankful for a brother like Rom, because I'm gonna tell you something. Just real. When I was first starting the NegroManosphere.com, I didn't know. I didn't have any ad support. I didn't have a Patreon at the time. And he said, brother, just, until you can get started, this is what I'll write for you for. And he made it where I was able to keep it going. And, obviously it's changed now, but, he was able to really help me get my start to provide what is the Negro Manosphere. Brother Darren Brown, he just donated. He had an article come out today. Matt, I got on this late. What's good, fella? So it opened up the doors for a lot of brothers because of Rom's, willingness to work with me. So I thank him so much. So he never asks for anything when he comes by, but I always give him something when he comes by because of how he's always been nice to me. So brothers, like the videos. Like I said, it's really hard to get on the interview. He spends a lot more time here on other interviews. So, let's get the likes up and the super chat support up if you can do it. Let me talk to you about this, Ron. With us as men, many of us are not coming up in certain homes. Like my dad was there to a certain degree, and my granddad was there to a certain degree, but my granddad wasn't not really a builder type of man. My dad, he was a hard worker, but he was also working on that crack in the 80s. And, he was struggling with that crack, nigga. And to try to get out there and try to, actually work with other black men and manage egos. That's been very, very hard for me to do, as I'm even doing with this, like, dealing with other brothers and where they are in life. I'm a younger entrepreneur in the sense of NegroMastery.com. So everybody's older than me. That's another struggle. Let's talk about that real quick for some of these young brothers, because when you're a younger entrepreneur, and we do have a younger audience that's there, 25, 30, and you're dealing with older brothers, building with older brothers and with brothers who think that maybe, you're not qualified enough. You don't know what you're talking about. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of us black men hire black women to do jobs, because of some of the hatred that we get from older brothers. I know that you're not like that, but what was the advice would you give for some of these other younger brothers? Because obviously they're going to be the future, right? Like the new things that we're going to come out with, some of the newer stuff. The older guys are not going to want to do that. The younger guys are going to have the energy and the zeal to do these things. What advice would you give our younger, talented black young men who really want to see, things get together and want to actually, build new things for the black male collective? What advice would you give them?
Go ahead and build it. Just go ahead and build it. You got to understand one thing about, like we've been talking about power. It's kind of like that thing with Mugabe and not Zaire, Zimbabwe, right? A lot of times you do get older folks, they get up there, they don't want to give up power. I've seen, and you see that otherwise, like in the, Black Civil Rights Movement. It's like people still talking about Sharpton and some of these other guys. And I'm like, man, pass the baton on to somebody else. Really.
Right.
It's a power thing. But despite that, if you're younger, understand there's also some older brothers like myself who are not intimidated and want you to do better. Because my job is to set the tone and set the foundation, and then you go to another level. Because my legacy is already set. You can't take that away. But what you're supposed to do is do even better. So when we setting up, brothers like me and O'Shea setting up the Negro Manosphere, or I'm setting up my 1,000,001 channels, somebody else is supposed to say, okay, let me look at what Ron, okay, hit me up and say, well, how can I take it to another level? And then I ain't going to be like, oh, I got to hold on. I'm like, I want you to go to another level. I want you to show me something new. Now, some brothers ain't going to be that way because they want to hold on to what their perceived power. But see, if you help somebody build up, right? That don't take your legacy away. That don't take the power away. That's why I would say to maybe some of the old heads, that enhances your power. Because, if the person is righteous, the young man's righteous, he's going to say, you know what, this dude mentored me on the way here. And I got plenty of young dudes like, they support me, they hit me back, they acknowledge me. They hook me up because they say, you know what, you helped me. And, it's supposed to be that way. I'm supposed to be ready to retire. Like I said, I don't want to be talking about relationships 5 years from now. I want some younger dudes to take that over.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get more into my other stuff. I want to be writing my science fiction novels, right? I want to write my science fiction novels and get that dealt with, right? I want to do something else. I want to be like, I want to be that old gangster or that old counselor or something. Like, you need something, come to me and I say, all right, this what's up. And I want to see what you do, because I'm going to tell you what, man. Some technology I'm excited about is this virtual reality technology. Because one day we might be doing this interview, we might have our headsets on and look like we all in a auditorium somewhere. Because these young people, they right on the technology. There's still some stuff I'm still trying to mess with, right? I'm like, shoot, this is past me. Okay, I got to figure some shit out, punch some buttons. I figure it out. But you got some young people, okay, they grew up figuring it out. So they can say, all right, let me take this to another level. I'll look at this. Oh, I can improve this. That's how it's supposed to be. Each generation is supposed to be better than the first. But one of the things is, too, the younger generation got to respect the foundation laid by the older generation. And the older generation has to realize what they building, the next generation is supposed to build up. Mm-hmm. So, okay, right now, we own 1% of the businesses or something, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so that next generation got to get it to 10 at least, preferably higher, but and then the generation at that get it to 25, right? And so on and so forth. That's how it's supposed to work. It's a circle of life. It's like, shoot, your legacy is still there. Though it's not whatever. So for the young people, keep going. Seek out brothers like myself who going to say, look, this is what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to call the dude's name, but there's a prominent person on YouTube hit me up privately about some stuff he's working on. Mm-hmm. And I just said, okay, yeah, do this, and that. I ain't have a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And this is I'll just say this is supposedly one of my competition, but he ain't. Mm-hmm. He a young dude coming up, so I'm going to say I'm going to help him. I don't have a problem. I ain't hesitate. Right. I even told him, man, I say, this shit going to sell like hotcakes. If he listens to this, he know what I'm talking about. I said, shit, that's how it's supposed to be. Right. I'm supposed to be retired. I'm supposed to be sitting back with some young big butt woman, like laying my head on her butt, drinking some moonshine. That's what I'm supposed to do. And you just hit me up once a year or something. Once every few months, you got a question. I say, yeah, just do this or something, man. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how the old gangsters retire, man. I don't need to control shit like that. I did my work. I got to rest. It's your turn now. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm just here for counseling. That's how elders supposed to be, counseling. Right. It's the young warrior supposed to be getting out there building and doing all that.
No, I will say this, because you helped me, when I had questions about certain things, and hey, you don't be hating or nothing, man. That spirit is really, I think, what's helped this, get to what it is. Shout out to LER Movement with the $20 super chat. My brother,
that's a powerful brother.
Oh man, he's the coolest.
That brother's powerful. Wait, man, let me say something real quick about LAR Movement. Let me say something. I think people sleep on him because he ain't about drama or anything, but I could watch any random video of his and be like, damn, that's some deep ass shit. Like just random shit, right? I can just click on something randomly, but he calm, right? And that's really a powerful thing. People need to get with that. I wouldn't start no stuff with them because you don't fuck with quiet people, man. Calm people. Because they'll put a bullet to your head and be calm about it and then go eat a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But nah, that brother's powerful, man. And another brother you mentioned earlier, Darren Brown. See, those some younger cats, they coming up. They supposed to do better than us. Or better than me. You supposed to do better than me. Then the younger cats actually supposed to do better than you. But all it has to be is people just have to acknowledge who went before them. And that's usually what a lot of elders, older folks want. Because I even got some elders now I acknowledge, like dudes in their 70s and stuff who did their thing, but I always give them their props. That's
Right.
all you have to really do. Now, if you get somebody who don't want to help you, okay, you don't worry about it, because if they don't want to help you, they ain't going to do a good job for you anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, just find the people who want to help. You got some people with sense. I mean, you always want to have some assholes or somebody try to hold on to power. But the problem is with people who try to hold on to power, it never ends well. It never ends well. Like somebody like Mugabe, that dude should have just retired and he would have been held up in esteem like forever.
Exactly.
He ain't gonna be held up the same way now. The last thing you want on your resume is a deposed leader. So
Right.
go ahead, man.
Right. Shout out to Harry Mingo, $10 super chat. Marcus Love, hey, here's my tie for Rom laying his head down on some big booty wand fund, $5. Hey man, I think you brothers, man, so far. I won't keep Rom no more than 10 more minutes. But and shout out to Nee, because we're gonna do some work here. Like I said, run the negromanosphere.com. It is a difficult job. So I just want to say this before we get to the last questions, Rom. Guys, get the likes up on the video. We have 206 people watching right now. Rom, let me ask you this, because not only are you an excellent writer, you broke, like I said, man, you made Nee's life hell last March 2017 when even Alan Roger Curry, we were talking about, he was like, whoa, god damn, 3,000, 4,000 shares. With black male media, and also you're an excellent writer, and we look at the things that Issa Rae is doing. What do you see in the future for, and shout out to Marcus Love, because he's an excellent writer on the site. I don't know if you've read his articles, but Marcus Love, shout out to him. He sporadically will put something together. What do you see for black male media with regards to comics, with regards to pilot shows, online shows, movies? I have Al Grease actually coming on Friday. He be playing with my emotions. That's the light skin shit, but he's gonna buy. You, Alan, all you guys are have other interests outside of just basically just writing books and stuff like this. What do you think our potential is getting into the market of movies? Getting into the market of, I have my comic that's being developed. I've put out a free one. I'm working on the new web comic right now. What do you think that we have to offer as far as the black male community putting out our own TV shows, our own books, our own media, as far as television and stuff like that is concerned? Where do you think we are at right there? What's the opportunity for us to do things?
I'm gonna tell you what. Putting out stuff on the mainstream media for the time being is tough, because there's a certain narrative that they want to promote.
Yeah.
Right. You notice they have a hard time promoting heterosexual brothers, strong-minded brothers. That's okay though. All right. What we got to be like this, or like an elder that some people might have heard of, Steve Coakley. He's like, you got to bogart it, right? Look, with the internet now, like I got a Vimeo site, right? And I have some videos on there. If YouTube ever act up, I can like just a few clicks and I can have subscription videos on there. And I think Al Grease has done something on there as well. A lot of people. Look, we got the means to create our own shit. We don't even need mainstream media. We got some brothers out there who are filmmakers. We can create our own TV shows. And we can use YouTube as a platform, Vimeo, whatever. We can stream it to people and we can make money off of it, right? We can create our own stuff, our own talk shows. I'm actually thinking about doing like some type of talk show, like starting yet another channel and just doing a talk show like this, even though I don't feel like messing with Hangout, but I'll make it work. But seriously, we can do it, because here's the thing, right? It's not like the old days where it was like 3 channels plus the VHF and UHF and like the coat hanger and stuff. Mm-hmm. We ain't there anymore. And then everybody and their brother got a device. Those devices need content. You can stream. We can start a TV show. We don't even have to hit the cable company up, because many of these young people you know, they don't even watch stuff on TV anyway. They're watching it on their phones. So they don't know if you have some quality, they can't tell the difference if that's coming off of Comcast or that's coming from some random website. They can't tell as long as it's some quality, you know. Shoot, the potential is great. Now, see, here's the thing. There's a difference between potential and then actually making it happen. We got to take the steps. If you got some brothers out there, filmmakers, hook up with some brothers who are writers. I can do some screenwriting. Alan Roger Curry can do some screenwriting. Hit us up, man. We can put together something. We got animators out there. We can put together something. You don't even need, all you need is a little bit of money. We can crowdfund that thing. A group of brothers can like say, okay, like say, I talked to this one cat. He said we could probably do something. He can do some animation. It'd probably take about $8,000 or something, like a decent short. Man, you can crowdfund that in one day if brothers support it, right? We put something together. No yeah, look, and shoot, I could probably do that just out of my like money market or something, right?
Right.
We put that together. I don't have to go to Comcast and say, hey, would you like this? Yeah, they got millions of dollars, but then I could say, you know what? I'm gonna put this on my subscription thing, charge $9.99 a month, create some type of series, and make some money. In fact, if you've heard of Black and Sexy TV, right?
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff on Vimeo and stuff, and they got a subscription thing. You come in, you pay something a month. What is actually cheaper than Netflix? Because I got some paperwork from, they were used as an example from the Vimeo site about what I could do with subscription, right? They made $35,000 one month. And they said they ain't make that the whole year on YouTube. 35,000.
Right. And
that's just some people, and they ain't on mainstream TV. All they did was get some people. It's very good quality, very good quality. You get some filmmakers. We got a ton of them. We got some writers. We got cooperative women. And shoot, we just hit those up, and we can bogart the media. There's no excuses anymore.
Right.
You know, we passed the point where you got to beg the nightly news to do something and then get the word out. Shoot, all you need is a good Instagram and a good Twitter or YouTube. Just put a preview on YouTube real quick and people share it. Just like people share about articles, all those thousands of times, they can share a link to the video or at least like the preview to like some TV series or some movie.
Right.
We got the means right now to go in around the corporate. So we have no excuses why we can't do something. We just got to work together. We can raise the money. We can hire actors. We got writers. We got every piece we need to make, like TV shows, news programs. You know, I know somebody, they getting a green, like one of those green screens or something. So you got all that, the technology. We got people who made a start, never went to film school or anything. They started out on YouTube and just gradually learned how to put shit together. All right. We got the talent. We're talented. Black men are gifted. See, that's the thing. Black men are gifted. If you think about it, Black men are like incredibly gifted. Incredibly gifted, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, y'all don't see this orange thing with my phone, do y'all? You don't see? Okay, good. They ain't in the picture. Yeah, I only got 15 minutes of battery left, man. I mean, 15% battery, man.
Right now.
Yeah. No, we good. We good. When it get down to like 10, I'll be like, yeah, I got a few minutes though. But look, man, the thing is, we can do all that. There's no excuse. That's just it. There's no excuses.
Right.
Dude, I'm getting nearly 6 figures from what I do, like the different stuff, and I'm working out of a small apartment.
Right.
So imagine with a little bit more. I say, look, let me get a regular studio or something. And you got several YouTube content creators who are doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Several YouTube content creators doing the same thing. So we can do it. The only thing we got to do is, well, we got to kill white supremacy in our mind, or the fact we can't do it, and stop worrying about who's, you know, what's outside community. Just focus on our game. That's it. That's it. Seriously, sovereignty, walk with your head up, man. Shit. I guarantee you, look, man, you get me and Alan together, right? We get some filmmakers. Let's say, look, we're gonna write something. We're gonna collaborate on something, write something. or write something separately, however you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Get some filmmakers, get some actors. You got plenty of actors. Shoot, get some of those fat booty Instagram models, or shit. You could probably get about 20 women. No, you could get 100 women. All you have to do is advertise on Fountain of Legends. We need some women for a thing, man. Shoot, yeah, man. Seriously, man, you could get the actors. You got the actors out there. Everything, models, everything. There's no excuse for us not creating our own media.
Nope, no excuse.
No excuse. So it's like it's possible. That's what made me really go into content creation anyway. Because I said, man, all these people got devices. They need content and good content. I mean, we got editors, we got sound equipment, and you can buy just ordinary ass shit. It don't take a lot of money. It's like, man.
It doesn't. I was just somebody cut up. I was just saying this with the negroministry.com. We have like almost 500 brothers that have Patreon, the site, and we have almost 700 articles. We post daily, 4 free ebooks. We got a comic, a web comic starting, and the Negro Ministry brings in about $3,000 a month, roughly. And all of that is, which is not really, because there's people who have like say, for example, Alpha Male Strategist. He has almost like 2,000, so he's getting way more money than I am.
Damn.
And there's people that have way more than me, but we can able to run a site just off of the $5 a month. That we got a forum, 4 free ebooks. Tony Macio's writing on his book, so that'd be 5. Just for an email subscription, you can get an ebook. So if you guys want a free ebook, all you gotta do is drop your email. We have all of that, and we're able to keep a site going up every. You write, Donovan writes, Alan Roger Curry writes. Brothers are paid 2 months in advance. Knees paid. I mean, we're able to do that just off of just only $3,000 a month. And that just goes to show you what we can do. I mean, if that was higher, that's like I said, it doesn't cost that much money. You know what I mean? We're able to keep that going. We had an award show. In fact, you got to know, Ron, can you show them your award? Is it by you real quick?
No, not really, man.
Okay, good. I was gonna have you show it to them. You know what I'm saying? So they wouldn't think that they didn't get up. But we had an award ceremony. We got moderator awards coming. We're able to do that just off a little bit, not that much money.
Nah, man, we can do it, man. We can do it. But hey, check this out, man. Yeah, this battery going down quick, man. This is a high interview.
You ready to get about it?
Yeah.
Well, Ron, man, I appreciate you coming by, man. I know it's hard to get you 2 weeks in a row, but I would say, man, thank you, man. Thank you for all the leadership. I don't know if you want to do some Patreon videos this month, but just let me know. I'll send you what you need. Ron is also on the Negro Manosphere's Patreon. Hasn't made a video in about a month, but I'm definitely going to make sure he gets on there this week. So thank you, man, for all that you do.
I'll tell you what, I can give you something this week, man. I'll figure out something, man. I'll continue this conversation, man. Just you know what you got to do, man. Because I'm a capitalist.
You want to talk to Ron?
I'll get you one this week.
You talk to Ron. He talks through PayPal, and then
I talk to this West African priest, man, he told me, man, he said the gods work harder when you pay them. So it's like, okay. I'll get you one, man. I can get you one tomorrow, man. Just take care of it, brother. I'll continue this conversation, man, on there. I'll get it up to you as soon as possible. I'll be to you by tomorrow evening, man.
I'll have it to you in a few minutes. Let me just say this real quick. How can you persuade younger black males to build on this foundation that older brothers like you and O'Shea are building instead of doing repeats? I'm gonna just answer that very quickly. I think that we got to start more. We got to start including more black. Me as a site administrator, not administrator, but content creator, we have to start reaching out to younger black men, bringing them onto the platforms, bringing them on. We have to start creating content for the younger generation to get them more involved. And then young people attract young people. Right. I'm a 37-year-old. I'm younger than most of the people that I work with, but I'm a middle class dude. I like staying around my age cohort. I see things from a, older guy's perspective, even though I'm a little bit younger, but we got to start reaching out to the younger brothers so they can have we have to start doing that to get younger in what we're doing. That's all I got to say. But anything you want to say, Ron?
Nah, man, I'm good, man. Just check it out for people on the Patreon. Y'all probably see a video either tomorrow or Friday, whenever. I'll get it to O'Shea tomorrow.
I sent you a little something for coming by, but let me go ahead on and bless the pockets real quick, player.
All right, man. I got you, man. That's how you do it, man. Brother got to feed his babies, man.
Hey, tell him I'm pretty good with keeping that money in on time, right, Rom?
No, but see, that's why I said I just want to say this. O'Shea, I don't care what y'all say about it, because people talk shit about you, but O'Shea, business-wise, he's gonna be a millionaire. Because the reason O'Shea is gonna be a millionaire for everybody listening, he's taking care of everybody. He's empowering other people. He ain't just taking money for himself. He could easily just say, you know what? I'll just talk my shit on these videos, get all my subs, keep all this money I'm making to myself. But he trying to empower other people. And that's the key. He bringing other people. He bringing the community along. That's how you build real wealth. Some people think you build it through individual works. Nah, no, you don't. You try to bring somebody else on. That's why I help a lot of younger people. They know. I've always like wearing somebody's shirt on my show or something like that. I'm trying to, that's how you do it. Whatever you can do, whatever you do. It ain't always money, just giving some advice, something like that. But you got to empower the whole community. So that's it. Yeah, this thing about to turn off, man.
That to you, man. So guys, look out for the Ron Wills video tomorrow for $5 Patreons and up. Shout out to Ron. Solo TV dropped a video for us today, and LER was yesterday. Solo TV 84. So we have more than one person dropping content on NegroMansFavorite.com on the Patreon. Thanks so much, Ron. I appreciate you, man. And check the PayPal. I sent all the money to you.
All right, don't worry, I got it, fam.
All right.
Anyway, man, I'll talk to you, man. Peace and blessings.
Peace, y'all.